Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive all about Warren Buffett. If you want to learn more than just the headlines about the Oracle of Omaha, you're in the right place.
Yeah, we're going on a journey here.
Absolutely, a journey through his life to figure out, what made him so successful, his philosophies, his strategies, all of it.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be using this podcast as our source material for this, by the way. And some of the stuff we're going to uncover is really interesting.
Yeah.
Get this. The guy started investing at 11 years old. That's crazy to me.
11 years old.
When I was 11 years old, I was, playing video games.
Yeah, I was riding bikes.
I wasn't thinking about the stock market. But yeah, and then he learned from Benjamin Graham, who's considered the father of value investing, right?
Yeah.
And then to top it all off, he still lives in the same house he bought back in 1958.
Which is, it's pretty amazing.
Pretty wild, right?
$31,500.
It just really makes you think about what success really means.
Yeah. It really does.
So let's start from the beginning. Warren Buffett was born in 1930 in Omaha, Nebraska. His father was a stockbroker.
So he was exposed to finance right from the start.
Right from the get-go.
Yeah.
From a very early age.
I mean, I think we all have those stories of lemonade stands and stuff like that, but this is different.
Yeah.
This guy was actually in the world of finance.
Yeah. And I feel like he took that and just ran with it.
Oh, yeah. He had that entrepreneurial spirit from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, our source material talks about him. By age 6, selling chewing gum, Coca-Cola, all in his neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
Like a classic,
You could say that he, was spotting value early on.
Right, from the start.
And then at 11, buys his first stock, City Service Preferred. I think you had a story about this one, right?
Oh, yeah. It's kind of funny, actually. He actually sold it really quickly. After the price rose a little bit, thought he made it a decent profit. But then stock ended up skyrocketing later. And, this kind of taught young Warren a lesson.
Yeah.
About patience and thinking long-term.
Yeah, thinking long-term.
Especially in the market.
Oh, man. I bet that shaped his investing, approach going forward.
Oh, for sure. Big time.
That brings us to his college years. He studied at the University of Nebraska and then went to Columbia Business School.
Okay.
It was there that he met Benjamin Graham.
And this, huge. This is a major turning point.
Yeah.
Graham's influence on Buffett is, it's huge.
Oh, yeah.
He is considered the father of value investing.
Yeah.
And his book, The Intelligent Investor, became Buffett's guidebook.
Oh, wow. So he read it and was like, this is it. This is how I need to think.
Legit.
The Bible of investing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Graham's whole philosophy centered around finding undervalued stocks. Those hidden gems that the market's just overlooking?
Oh, so that's what value investing is.
That's it.
You're looking for the undervalued things.
Right. And he believed if you could buy these stocks at a bargain price, you could minimize risk and then set yourself up for big returns.
That sounds a lot like buy low, sell high to me.
Oh, yeah, kind of. It's more than that, though.
Yeah.
Graham was really methodical. It wasn't about jumping in and out of stocks quickly.
Oh, so it's not like day trading.
No. This was deep research, understanding the business, looking for what he called a margin of safety.
Margin of safety? What is that?
Yeah, think of it like it's essentially buying a stock.
Yeah.
At a price way lower than what the company's actually worth.
Okay, so like a buffer zone.
Exactly, like a buffer against potential losses.
Okay.
So it's not just finding a cheap stock, it's finding a good company that's maybe temporarily undervalued.
So that's interesting. So it's not just about cheapness, it's about finding the right company.
Yes, exactly.
That's just maybe in a weird spot right now.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
And that's where Buffett kind of took this and added his own little twist.
Oh, okay.
To Graham's approach. He took that value investing, combined it with a focus on quality and long-term potential.
So not just cheap, quality too.
He wasn't just looking for a cheap stock, he was looking for a high-quality business.
Okay.
With a durable competitive advantage.
And this is all stuff that you have to just know. You can't get that from a number.
Right.
Right? That's interesting.
Companies he could understand and believe in for the long haul.
For the long haul.
That's key.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he was looking for more than just a good deal.
More than just a deal.
He wanted to invest in companies he saw a future in.
Okay.
That brings us to Berkshire Hathaway.
All right. That's the big one.
The big one.
Everyone knows Berkshire Hathaway.
So in the 1960s, he started investing in this struggling textile company. Okay. Initially, it was like a classic value play where the stock was trading for way less than the company was worth.
Okay.
But then he turned this textile company
Yeah.
into, well, I mean, it's a crazy diverse portfolio now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, Berkshire Hathaway owns everything, like from Geico and Dairy Queen to Fruit of the Loom.
It's all over the place.
And it's like, how?
I mean, you look at it and you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah, what is the through line?
Right.
That's wild.
Well, I mean, it might seem random at first.
Yeah.
But it really reflects Buffett's kind of evolving strategy. He transformed Berkshire Hathaway into a conglomerate, which is like a holding company for tons of different investments.
Oh, okay.
And these investments were all guided by that same principle we talked about, allocating capital to well-managed companies with strong competitive advantages.
Oh, okay.
You see.
So Berkshire Hathaway became his platform to put these principles into action.
Yeah, I mean, almost like he created his own little investment universe.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that universe has delivered extraordinary returns, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, some of his long-term bets, like Coca-Cola, American Express, Apple.
Yeah, like, how does he know?
I mean, these weren't gambles. These were calculated investments in businesses he understood and believed would thrive for years to come.
It's remarkable that he started buying Coca-Cola stock back in 1988. Still holds it today.
Yeah, think about that.
That's
That
crazy.
long-term vision, you know?
Yeah,
That's key.
that's key. And this long-term approach is really, like, key to understanding, like, Buffett's overall philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of boil it down to a few core principles.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Because it sounds like his approach is very different from, like, you know, what you normally hear about investing or what people think about investing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What are those key principles that set him apart?
Well, first of all, Buffett believes in investing in what you understand. You know, he famously avoids industries he doesn't get
Oh, okay.
and just focuses on businesses with clear, predictable futures.
Okay, so don't put your money into something you don't get.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't understand how Bitcoin works,
Don't invest.
I shouldn't invest in Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't buy into the hype just because everyone's talking about something.
No, that makes sense.
And that ties into the second principle, which is think long term.
Okay.
He's got this great quote. If you aren't willing to own a stock for 10 years, don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes.
Wow, that really challenges the get rich quick mentality.
Oh, for sure.
We see so much these days,
Yes.
like online and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffett is all about patience and discipline. He sees stocks as ownership in a business, not just ticker symbols to be traded.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's not just some, like, you know, code on a screen.
Right.
This represents, like, an actual company.
It's a piece of a business.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
own that, you know?
You have to think about it that way.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's about finding those companies you believe in and just, like, letting your investment ride.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that leads to his third principle, which might sound a little counterintuitive.
Okay.
Buy wonderful companies at fair prices.
Okay.
Notice he doesn't say buy cheap companies.
He says wonderful companies. Quality over cheapness. Isn't that a little risky, though?
I mean,
Because, like, those high quality companies usually come at a, you know,
yeah, they cost more.
a high price.
But remember, Buffett's playing the long game.
Yeah.
He's willing to pay a fair price for a company he believes in.
Yeah.
That will deliver consistent growth and value over time.
Okay.
So this is very different from like day trading,
Yeah.
where people are chasing the hot stock,
Yeah.
trying to time the market.
Trying to time the market, yeah.
This is about finding something solid
Yeah.
and sticking with it.
It's like building a house on solid ground versus, like, sand.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffett's all about that solid foundation. He looks for companies with strong management, durable competitive advantages, and a track record of profitability.
Oh, so he's really looking at the fundamentals
He's looking at the business,
of the business.
not just the stock price.
Oh, okay. This is starting to click for me now. But let's shift gears a little bit, okay? So Buffett's really good at making money, we know that. But what does he do with all that money?
That's a great question. And it brings us to another really interesting part of his story,
Okay.
his philanthropy.
Okay.
So in 2006, he pledged to donate 99% of his wealth
99%.
in charity.
That's incredible.
It's almost all of it.
Yeah.
Most people would be clinging to every penny
Yeah, you would think.
if they had that kind of fortune.
Yeah.
This really speaks to his values and his philosophy on wealth. He's been critical of like what's called dynastic wealth,
Yeah.
which is just the idea of passing down huge fortunes to your heirs.
Okay.
He believes in giving back and making a difference.
So it's not just about accumulating wealth. It's about using it for good.
Exactly. This brings up a really important point. Buffett's story isn't just about money. It's about using that money for good, aligning your financial success with a sense of purpose.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's not just about the number in your bank account. It's about the impact you have.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And I think there are some powerful lessons here for all of us, regardless of, our financial goals.
Yeah. Okay, let's break it down then. What are the key takeaways from, Buffett's journey that we can apply to our own lives?
Well, if there's one thing Buffett's life highlights, it's that patience pays. Whether it's holding on to investments for decades or building a business slowly over time, he's shown that slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, I like that. It reminds me of that saying, the greatest wealth is created over time, not overnight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this ties into another crucial lesson, continuous learning. Buffett is a famously voracious reader, spends something like 80% of his day reading.
80%, I mean,
It's hard.
it's a lot. I like to read, but that's a lot of reading. Seriously, though, that shows how important it is to keep learning,
And
growing, no matter how successful you become.
Always be learning.
Yeah.
Knowledge compounds just like money. And Buffett is a perfect example of that. Another takeaway is discipline. Buffett doesn't get swayed by market hype or emotional reactions.
That guy stay focused, right?
He sticks to his principles and his long-term strategy.
So it's like about having the conviction to stay the course,
Yeah.
even when things are turbulent.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Much easier said than done.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And then finally, there's this lesson about living within your means.
I mean, Buffett, one of the wealthiest people on the planet, still lives in that modest Omaha home that he bought in 1958 for $31,500.
That's remarkable.
It's pretty amazing.
It really shows where his priorities lie.
It's a lesson in aligning your lifestyle with your values.
Yeah, so we've got patience, continuous learning, discipline, and living within your means.
Yeah, those are the big ones.
These are pretty profound lessons.
For sure.
And not just for investing. I feel like these are principles that can apply to any area of life.
Absolutely.
Whether you're pursuing a career, building relationships, or just like working towards a goal, like a personal goal.
It's all the same.
These are they're timeless.
They really are.
Okay, so we've dug into his early life, his education, his incredible investment journey, his core principles, even his philanthropy. And it's amazing to see how all these pieces fit together to kind of paint a picture of this man who's not just about making money, but living a life of purpose.
Exactly. And that's what makes his story so compelling.
Yeah.
It's not just a financial success story. It's a human story about values, discipline, and making a difference.
Absolutely. What stood out to you the most about Buffett's story?
I mean, for me, it's this idea that his investment principles are really like life principles in disguise. They're about making wise decisions, thinking long term, focusing on what truly matters. It makes me wonder how we can apply these principles to other areas of our lives beyond just investing.
That's a fantastic point. Could we approach our careers with that kind of long-term vision, or maybe our relationships? What would it look like to apply that margin of safety concept to our personal goals?
Exactly. It's about thinking beyond the immediate, considering the long-term consequences of our actions, and making choices that align with our values.
I love that.
It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
But one worth considering.
Yeah, I think so. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into Warren Buffett, I want to leave you with this. What one thing from Buffett's approach will you try to implement? Maybe it's reading more. Maybe it's thinking more long-term about your goals. Or maybe it's just buying yourself a cherry Coke. Whatever it is, we'd love to hear how you're putting these lessons into action. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned cherry Coke. Because that reminds me of something I found pretty amazing. Remember how we talked about Buffett buying Coca-Cola stock back in '88 and holding it all these years?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out he's a huge fan of their products, too.
Really?
I've heard he drinks like 5 Cokes a day.
Yeah.
Not exactly the diet of a health guru.
But 5 a day?
5 Cokes a day?
Wow.
The guy's 94 years old and sharp as a tack.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever works, right?
Whatever works.
5 Cokes a day, I'll take it. But it's those little details that make him seem more human, Like here's this investing titan and he's got this simple pleasure that he enjoys every day.
It reminds us that even someone with that level of success
Hmm.
still finds joy in the ordinary things.
Exactly. And you know what else is interesting? The fact that he is pledged to give away 99% of his wealth. We touched on this earlier, but I think it's worth diving a bit deeper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, his commitment to philanthropy really sets him apart. It's not just about like writing a check. It's a deep-seated belief in using his wealth to make a positive impact.
Yeah, it's like he's putting his money where his mouth is.
Exactly.
And it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It makes you wonder, like, what would the world be like if more ultra-wealthy people followed his lead?
It's a good question. I mean, imagine the potential for solving global problems if more fortunes were directed towards things like education, healthcare, poverty alleviation.
Yeah.
It can make a huge difference.
It really could. That's crazy to think about. It's a powerful example of how wealth can be a tool for good, not just like a means to a luxurious lifestyle.
Right, exactly. It ties back to what we were saying before about aligning your financial success with a sense of purpose.
Yes.
It's not just about how much you make, but what you choose to do with it.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've explored Warren Buffett's incredible journey, from his early days as a young investor to his rise as the Oracle of Omaha. We delved into his investment strategies, his core principles, his remarkable commitment to philanthropy.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
Seeing how his story goes beyond just finance. I mean, it's a testament to the power of patience, discipline, a long-term vision, not just in investing, but in life as a whole.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought. What one thing from Buffett's approach will you try to implement in your own life?
Will you embrace his emphasis on continuous learning? Will you strive to make decisions with a long-term perspective? Or maybe you'll just treat yourself to a Coca-Cola in honor of the Oracle himself.
Whatever it is, we encourage you to take action and apply these valuable lessons to your own journey. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Warren Buffett.
Yeah, and it's not even just the regular Coke. He loves cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke.
Yeah, cherry Coke.
Oh, wow.
That's his go-to.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you think about it. This guy, this like legendary investor, just loves his cherry Coke.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think, like, are there any other like little quirks about him that we don't know?
Right.
Yeah, that we don't know.
Like what else does he get up to?
Yeah. When he's not like, reading about companies and stuff.
Yeah, what's he doing in his downtime?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Makes you wonder.
But speaking of things that are interesting, I think it's worth circling back to his philanthropy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I know we touched on this earlier, but pledging to give away 99% of your wealth, like, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's huge.
I
mean, it's inspiring, really.
It is inspiring.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, it makes me wonder, like,
yeah,
what kind of impact could we have if more people with that kind of wealth had that same mindset?
It's a good question.
I
mean, it's like, if more people were focused on not just accumulating wealth, but using it to actually make a difference.
What a different world it would be.
It really would be.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. We've gone through a lot today.
We covered a lot of ground.
We covered a lot of ground about Warren Buffett, from his early life to his investment philosophy, his philanthropy, everything. And I hope that, everyone listening has learned something.
Yeah, I think there's some really valuable lessons here.
Yeah.
For anyone, really.
So to kind of wrap things up, I want to leave you with one last thought. What's one thing from Buffett's approach that you can take and apply to your own life?
Maybe it's thinking more long-term. Maybe it's being more patient. Or maybe it's just enjoying a cherry Coke every now and then.
Yeah, whatever it is, we hope that you'll, take what you learned here and use it to make your own life a little bit better. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Warren Buffett.